May I come in, sir?
Yes, please come in, Gamini.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, madam.
Have a seat.
Thank you, sir.
You share your birthday with a very important personality, huh?
Yes, sir.
Is it your actual birthday or they shifted the date too?
No, sir, it's my actual birthday.
It's your actual, okay. What other qualities have you, adopted or got from Mahatma Gandhi?
Yes, sir. So I think that I have tried to imbibe some qualities from Mahatma Gandhi ji. One of them is empathy and compassion for the people around, for the downtrodden society, and to feel that they are part of ours. And the second thing is the non-violence that he propagated. So I also believe that anything that needs to be solved, it should be through peaceful measures. And third thing, sir, I think that Mahatma ji said was that do not hate the evildoer, hate the evil. And that is the principle that I have tried to imbibe.
Okay. Now, you passed in 2019.
Yes, sir.
You have been working somewhere after that?
No, sir. I received an offer from JP Morgan, but then I decided to pursue civil services examinations preparation.
Why? JP Morgan would have given you, 10-figure salary. ये तो यहाँ तो IAS में नहीं मिलेगी. You'll be only hand to mouth.
Yes, sir. I'm aware of that.
At retirement, I think we were getting some 1,25,000 or something.
Yes, sir. I'm aware of that. I have also done my internship with JP Morgan, and I am aware of that, sir. But I think that as long as money is able to help me with my livelihood, and I'm able to sustain myself and my family. So for satisfaction, I believe that what work I do and what kind of impact that I can have is more important for me, sir.
Okay. Now, these companies like JP Morgan and all these financial companies, of late, there have been a lot of scams which have come up.
Yes, sir.
Recently also there was some big scam of Yes Bank. Are you aware of that? What was that scam about?
So I will need some time to go for the technicalities.
Yes.
But as far as I remember, there is some problem with the financial auditors and the whatever financial statements that they pursue or that they bring in the public, the figures are not right. And there's a problem with the kind of debt that they raise, and then their debt becomes non-performing asset, which then is detrimental to the society and to the economy of the country as a whole.
Okay.
So,
what steps is government taking to take care of these NPAs of the various banks? What are they doing? Are they thinking of something?
Yes, sir. Government has been doing its part, and recently in the budget also, last year's budget, they have proposed an asset reconstruction company that will that will try to clean the balance sheets of the banks and give them a new spirit so that they can contribute.
You think it's a good idea? Because in that case, the banks will keep on lending. They are not bothered about repayments.
Yes, sir. I believe that any kind of step will have some kind of disadvantages or the cons associated with it. But it in itself is a good idea. But we need to take care that the banks do not take it as a measure that they can get back to every single time. And there will have to be certain regulations for that.
You are a B.Tech from Punjab Engineering College, huh?
Yes, sir.
PEC, very good college, na?
Yes, sir.
And you did computer science and engineering?
Yes, sir.
More on the hardware side or the software side?
Sir, it was basically we learned the courses and it's both, more on the software side, I would say.
More on the software side.
Yes.
Recently there was some controversy regarding a software known as Pegasus.
Yes, sir.
What is this controversy about, and what do you think will happen?
Yes, sir. So, sir, Pegasus is a kind of malware and a spyware which is believed that it hacked the systems of some of the journalists and some of the very important dignitaries in India and was able to take crucial and sensitive information out. And it has been alleged that the government has bought this Pegasus from the Israel government and has tried to spy on the people. But I think, sir, without any kind of proper documentation, or without any kind of if we do not have proper evidence, we must not say these kind of things unless and until it is established, because it tarnishes the image of the Indian government.
What is happening? What is being done now?
The matter is sub judice, sir, The Supreme Court has stated that national security cannot be blatantly stated as it cannot be blatantly said that if the matter is if anything is being done for national security.
So what have they done? What has the Supreme Court done?
So Supreme Court has asked the government to furnish the proper documents.
No, they have set up a committee. They have set
yes,
up a committee with independent experts.
I'm extremely sorry.
Go into it.
Yes,
okay, no problem, no problem. Now, do you know? You have heard this name of Julian Assange?
Sorry, sir. I think I don't know.
The WikiLeaks.
Yes, I have heard about WikiLeaks. Yes, sir.
What did they do?
Right, sir. So WikiLeaks was a kind of entrepreneurial initiative. They also tried to bring to forth in the knowledge of the public any kind of mishappenings from the American dignitaries and the politicians, some of the politicians also, whatever any kind of sensitive information which was there, they tried to bring to the notice of the public.
You think this is a good idea?
Sir, I believe that if it is anything which is told in the public, it must have some backing to it. And if they are able to provide some documents, then they must take the institutional way of going forward rather than just blatantly tarnishing the
but the institution will not allow, the Ministry of Defense of the USA will not allow their internal documents to be leaked. But he has gone ahead and leaked.
Yes, sir. So I believe that in the popular opinion, it might be have some backing. But sir, if we look from the point of the defense, the national security is at the stake. So such kind of practices must not be promoted, according to me.
Thank you.
Okay, Gamini.
Yes, sir.
You are from such a beautiful state, Punjab.
Yes, sir.
But there are certain problems, of course.
Yes, sir.
Tell 5 problems of a state which you think that they are important.
Okay, sir. So I believe, yes, as you said, Punjab is a beautiful state, but there are problems as well. To mention 5 of them, first and foremost will be the problem of the drug menace in the state. Second will be the problem of unemployment. Third will be the problem of the agrarian economy, which is stuck with the paddy and the wheat cycle. Fourth will be from the health point of view, the cancer which is spreading fastly. And fifth, I would like to say, is the out-migration that has been happening to the outside countries.
Okay. Recently, government has been changed there.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
But the coffer is empty. Money is not there. I mean, lot of debt are there. How the government is going to cope up with the so many promises they have made? So, like 1,002 every month to the women account, then free electricity and all these things. Do you feel that these promises can be because the resources are very meager, and this is a big problem. How to cope up with?
Yes, sir. I believe that I am pretty hopeful about the situation, and I think that if the government works in the mission mode, then the treasury can also be solved and these promises can also be kept. So first and foremost thing is that, as you mentioned, the debt is high on the state and our debt to GDP is also around 48%, which is quite high. But then if we focus on the areas which generate revenue, and as the government has been saying that they are going to curb some kind of mafias which kind of bypass this thing, so I think that is pretty much possible if it is being worked out.
Because corruption is a big issue in Punjab.
Yes,
and this government is thinking in terms of curbing this tendency, and they have given some numbers also has been floated.
Yes,
that there can be some videos can be sent.
Yes,
so
sir.
do you feel that these types of gimmicks can work?
So I believe that these steps are important, but these are not sufficient. So we need to take a lot of other measures, but still but I think that we must be hopeful, and many other measures can be taken for solving this problem. One of them is what the government has done right now.
Have you read newspaper today?
So I've gone through the headlines.
Okay, please tell 2 headlines which
sir.
attracted your attention.
So one was that the USA's deputy NSA has visited India and has given out a message that if any country tries to bypass the sanctions by the US government on Russia, so USA is not going to be light on that issue. And second is regarding the Supreme Court's judgment that the Vajirao community, which is given 10% reservation within the most backward classes, that is not constitutionally right and against the principle of equality.
we are missing very one important news regarding Northeast.
Yes, sir. The third would be, yes, sir, sure. That is that the Home Minister has stated that certain areas from 3 states of Northeast, they have been excluded from AFSPA.
Okay. What are the uses of drones in administration? Suppose you are a district magistrate or DC in your district. How are you going to use the drones? Because the emerging technology and a lot of areas, what are those important
Right,
areas?
sir. So I agree that yes, drones have a huge potential, and if, in my humble opinion, if I am appointed as the district magistrate, the first and foremostly will be to study the problems of that particular area, and then take on the step that how drones can be efficient. So if I was to take an example, now we can, in agriculture, drones can be very important. For example, Krishi drones that even our Honorable Prime Minister has talked about, to sense the quality of the crops, for the land records. And secondly, even in the corona times, we saw from the health perspective also, the drones are very important with the sensing abilities and to distribute the essential goods and materials to the areas which are not very well connected with road or the rail facilities.
What is your take about Gati Shakti mentioned in budget this year?
Yes, sir. So I believe that PM Gati Shakti is a very novel and a very nice idea for the multimodal connectivity that the government is trying. And I think that it will go a long way in solving the logistical problems and reducing the logistical cost, which has been very high in India.
My last question is, your parents are medical officers?
Yes, sir. They both are rural doctors working in
Doctors.
rural area.
How to, I mean, the conditions are not very good of the primary health center and all these things, you understand, because sometimes medicines are not available, sometimes
Yes.
doctor is not available.
Yes, sir.
One or two important out-of-box ideas so that their presence can be assured in villages and the remote areas.
Yes, sir. Sir, I believe, as you mentioned, that the problems are on multiple folds. One is the personal problems that the doctors face, and second is on the level of the institution, like the lack of medicines, lack of funds. So first, coming to the institutional problems, sir, I believe that as I've talked to my parents, there is a provision of Rogi Kalyan Samitis, RKS. So there are sufficient funds in the RKS. So I believe that any doctor who has motivation and who is self-driven must use these funds to get the equipments which are good for the society. And secondly, sir, the absence of doctors is a problem. For that also, I think we can rope in technology, like the sensors and the biometrics can be introduced, and visits should be there, sir.
Okay, well said. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, Gamini.
Yes, sir.
What is the meaning of your word? Gamini
sir-
is very rare.
Yes, sir. So Gamini means to walk.
To walk.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Right. You must be following this Russian-Ukraine war.
Yes, sir.
What role India can play to overcome this situation or to stop war? Because
Okay,
a lot
sir.
of people, world leaders, they are recommending the Indian Prime Minister that he should interfere in this affair and can play important major role.
Yes, sir. So I believe that India's neutral stance can be of very major help in this particular war, and we can be an arbitrator between the two countries. And as we have also mentioned that we want a peaceful solution through dialogue. So India can facilitate the process of the dialogue between the two countries so that whatever issues are at hand, they can be peacefully resolved and this situation can be tackled with.
Okay. Now recently there was overall reshuffle in political scenario of Punjab.
Yes, sir.
If I ask you give only two reasons for why this AAP government got the thumping victory, what two reasons you will suggest
Okay, sir.
or identify?
Right, sir. So the two major reasons which if I have to identify are, one is the change perception, that people wanted a change from whatever has been done and they were looking for something which is new, and they believe that they deserve that whatever the parties commit, they also follow that. So I think the people wanted a change. First was that. And second was also, rather, like recently we also saw in the Congress government also, it was a stable government, but they shuffled the chief minister. And I think with that also, the people feel that such kind of things are like create a trust deficit with the people. So they believe that they want someone with stable and who have proven things. So they have voted for the daily model of governance as well, which is tested.
If I suggest that single most important factor was people's faith that this government will control or overcome the corruption in the state.
Yes, sir.
What are your observations about it?
Sir, I think you're absolutely
But
right,
you
sir.
did not discuss about the corruption.
Yes, sir. I'm really sorry, sir. I think you're absolutely right, sir, that people are fed up with corruption because it is like, as they state, that it is eating into the systems, and the people's faith and the trust deficit is huge with respect. So they want an honest and a transparent government which can be held accountable and which is people-centric.
Okay, what is the present status about the gender equality or gender equal opportunity to the women? Do you have some data?
Yes, sir. Sir, we are talking about Punjab, or
Yes, Punjab as a whole, or maybe overall nationally?
Sir, I believe that we have taken some steps and we are improving on the path of gender equality. In Punjab, if I had to mention, the sex ratio as per the 2011 census, it was lower than 900. But as per the recent SRS census, the SRS reports, the sex ratio has improved. So certainly there is hope, and on many fronts we are moving. Even on the political front, this time the MLAs who are elected, women MLAs, are more than the women MLAs who were elected last year. So on political front we are improving. One thing that needs utmost attention is the economic participation of women, on which we are lacking. So I believe that that needs
Okay,
improvement.
your BTech in computer science.
Yes, sir.
So tell us that after this Digital India program, what are the areas where we have made some salient or major developments?
Okay, sir. So the Digital India initiative, I think, has made an impact on almost every sphere. To mention a few, one is the health sector. Through the telemedicine program of the government, they have made, so I'm forgetting the name of the initiative, I'm extremely sorry, but for the telemedicine, they have done is that even the rural doctors can connect to the doctors outside or the specialists, and even the people can connect through telemedicine. Second is the digital health mission, which is like an ecosystem of digital documents, personal IDs of the people. Second is in the education sector, sir. I think PM E-Vidya has been one of the major initiatives, and even through radios, through digital apps, through audiovisual devices, these are, I think, education has taken a leap. And thirdly is the connectivity in the rural areas through Wi-Fi's and providing with the digital connectivity. Third area would be that.
What is the present status of medical tourism in your state or in India? Because this is the very easiest way of improving economy. You have the skilled doctor with you.
Yes.
A lot of neighboring countries, they don't have doctors.
Yes.
And then they are visiting India. I have a lot of data from the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare.
Yes.
But major centers are only in Gurgaon, Delhi, NCR. But why not in remote areas like inner area of Punjab or say Haryana? They are not promoting medical tourism. What are your observations and comments on overall scenario?
So I believe that medical tourism is an area in which India can do very well, and we have been doing very well. We have many, as you mentioned, sir, we have many medical tourists coming. But having said that, I believe that yes, it is centric to some areas. We need to proliferate this thing in the other areas. I think infrastructure is one of the issues, because the foreigners who come, they want good infrastructure. And secondly is that whoever is practicing in the private, they want them to be accountable. So sometimes we see that there are quacks who are practicing in the rural areas, not having sufficient degrees. So that can tarnish our image. So I think that we should.
Last question.
I'm sorry.
What is the role of recombinant DNA technology? If you can give some examples.
Yes, sir, I've read about it. Sir, recombinant DNA technology is basically the usage of the DNA, like combining the combining the genes of two different organisms to bring out something new. I'm unable to explain it, sir, right now. If I could give an example, if I may use an example, It can be growing organs in the animals. That is also recombinant DNA technology.
Single most important product of recombinant DNA technology is being
Vaccines.
used all over the world, and in India it is at the top.
Vaccines.
Because 1/3 people are suffering from diabetes in India. That is a hub. And
Yes,
for that purpose, insulin is the product of recombinant DNA technology, which is saving a lot of lives, you know.
Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you,
Okay,
sir.
thank you.
Gamini,
Yes, ma'am.
as you mentioned, there is a drug problem in Punjab.
Yes,
right?
madam.
Suppose you are made a administrator in one of the towns or you in a district. What measures, immediate measures, you will take to control this?
Ma'am, if I am given this opportunity, first of all, I will have to study the local dynamics of the area. Who are
How
the...
much time will you take? I said immediate steps.
Okay, ma'am. So
A
immediate...
quick look and a quick decision.
The quick decision would be to cut off the supply first, and the easy availability of the drugs must be cut out. That will be the quickest solution, I believe, and that we can do through surveillance networks, through regular inspections of the vehicles, and that will be the short-term solution, ma'am. And if I have to look at
Medium term?
Yes, ma'am. In the medium term, what we can do is the overall availability of that will be in the region itself. But in the medium term, we can look at the region from a holistic perspective. That can be again through visits, through the legal measures also, and it can be through the rehabilitation of the people who have already been infected with the drugs. And in the long term, ma'am, I think the problem can be solved only through social awareness. When people themselves know that these drugs are not helping them, and rather they are being tricked into this.
Take a scenario. They know that they are self-destructive.
Okay, ma'am.
How can we help them immediately?
One is through rehabilitation, ma'am, and the social stigma which is associated with the drug menace or being in the habit of taking drugs. That needs to be removed by counseling the people around.
Yes.
That it is not something which is to be ashamed of. Rather, we as a community must help the people to come out of it. And thirdly, ma'am, community policing can be very helpful. This has been done in one of the districts of...
Which district?
In district Bathinda, one of the villages of Bathinda. The initiative has been taken by the local people, and they check every person who enters the village to assure that he or she is not carrying drugs. So administration can work with the people and involve them in whatever initiatives they take.
First time in this budget, there is some unique feature in the health sector. Can you name it? Quick answer.
Unique initiative in the health sector. Sorry, ma'am, I cannot recall it right now.
Okay, it's mental health. First time we have come in the open to talk about mental health of people, because
Manodarpan initiative, ma'am.
mental health is a subject now where
Yes.
India is going to put money there
Yes,
to
ma'am.
handle that.
Sorry,
and
ma'am,
I
yes.
think drug addictiveness can also be tackled by working on the mental health of the drug addicts and giving them proper counseling, and immediate helplines should be there.
Certainly, ma'am.
The first solution should be to create a helpline from your office,
Okay,
so that people can be talked of, they can talk and okay. Let's come to the budget again.
Yes, ma'am.
What is the status of cryptocurrency in India now, and how we are going to handle it? What are the modus operandi?
Okay, ma'am. So recently in the budget, the finance minister has announced the taxation on the virtual digital assets that we have.
Suppose we start taxing something.
Yes, ma'am.
What does it define? It was a very undefined area as far as cryptocurrency was concerned. So now it is.
Yes, ma'am. So I believe that it is not regulated as per se, which some of the players in the market are saying.
How it is not regulated? Once we decide to tax it, and we are giving a proper rate and everything, then it is regulated. India itself is going to come out with its own cryptocurrency. What is it called?
It is going to come out with a digital rupee.
That will be on the same parlance, that it will be used as a currency which India will also float, like Bitcoins and Ethereum. Have you heard about NFT?
Yes, ma'am. non-fungible tokens.
Can you give me an example where it is becoming very popular? In which sector? What? Give me one example.
Ma'am, their paintings can be used as NFTs and
How do you create an NFT?
any one person, ma'am, who has created that particular asset, the ownership or the, as we say, the patent ownership will reside with that person. But once it is sold, it can be owned by only one person in the entire world. That makes it unique. Although the
So
copyright.
if I buy an NFT,
Yes, ma'am.
I can sell it.
At a time, it will only be with one person, ma'am, I believe.
Right. Your birthday is common with Gandhiji. There is one more person who also has this birthday on 2nd October, very prominent person.
Yes, ma'am. Our honorable late Prime Minister, Lal Bahadur Shastri ji.
There is nothing from him to be inspired with?
Ma'am, there are a lot of things that he
You
inspired.
didn't mention anything. Anyway.
Sorry, ma'am.
Have you heard about Chitra Ramakrishna?
Yes, ma'am.
Who is she and why she was in the news of late?
Ma'am, she was a prominent authority at the National Stock Exchange, and she has been in news lately because of there have been allegations that she used to share some sensitive information, and she used to take the advice of a yogi through emails.
It's only an allegation, or it has it's a
Now
It
it
has
has,
been
yes, sorry, ma'am. I think now, yes, the SEBI has taken some measures, and even
not
even
now
it
in
has been,
last few years it was
it has been
returned.
established now, ma'am.
Where is she now?
Ma'am, she's in the custody, I believe, but I'm not very sure. Thank you, ma'am.
Gamini, we are discussing here, and the Prime Minister of India is giving a pariksha pa charcha.
Yes, yes, sir.
India has a new education policy in 2020.
Yes, sir.
But when we look at the education policy of the last almost 70 years, then we are completely different from the Western America and others. We are lopsided. Our schooling system is very costly. Higher education is in government sector is almost very low, means free. On the other side, in the West, if you see, the schooling is just opposite to India. So, do you think that we need to change? We are on the wrong side?
Sir, I believe that now with the RTE in force, the education, the primary education is also not very costly in India. Rather, it is free of cost to the students, and I think we have made improvements on that scope. Earlier, it was said that yes, in the earlier the education was very costly, but I believe that with the proliferation of schools, this problem is being tackled with, although a lot needs to be done.
Through RTE, how many students of the poor people get enrolled in convent schools? How many?
Not in the convent schools, sir. So for that, I think public schools should come at par with the convent schools.
So why the elites of India, like me and you and others, do not send their children to the government school?
So one, because of the pattern, because there is a pattern that the elites will only go to the convent schools. And second is that there is some problem from the side of the schooling system as well, which needs to be corrected, which is number one, the absence of the teachers in the school. And it has been, the image associated is that the schooling and the type of skills that are taught are not at par with what is required today for the youth of the country.
So we need to change. Means India.
I think, sir, we have made some very good steps with the national education policy. We are bringing the vocational education in public schools as well. So, but certainly
with
we
education, Gamini, there is another problem in Ukraine. What we have seen, there is certain flaws. Means why for the medical education the students run away from India? They go to China, they go to Central Asia, they go to Ukraine, and that is how they land into trouble.
Yes, sir.
Why this medical education has become too costly, which is not affordable for ordinary people like many of us. Poor people cannot afford it. Poor people can become an IAS officer,
Yes,
but
sir.
he cannot become, he or she cannot become a doctor. This is the kind of India we are today.
Yes, sir. I believe that in the public sector, like the public colleges which are there, they are affordable. But the problem is with the number of the seats which are limited, and the number of the aspirants are very high. So when the seats are filled, they look for the private institutions which are not affordable for many, as you stated. So yes, this is a problem. That is why the students have to go outside to take the medical education which is affordable for them.
Okay, Gamini, world is at trouble. Fighting continues unabated. Civilian lives are at risk. There would be a world order. Whether it would be order or disorder, we do not know.
Yes.
But if it is there, where do you see India in that hierarchy of the world order after post-Ukraine crisis? If there is a first power, second power, third power, where could be India?
So I believe that with the balanced stance that India has taken, we are at a good position, and even after the world order, we can, if we like tackle some of the issues that we have, and we can be consistent with our foreign policy, and so we can find a good order in the world order. And ranking it from the scale of 1 to 5, sir, I believe that China is emerging as a superpower, so it is one of the major competitions we have. And only after the war we will know that where Russia versus Ukraine stand.
What kind of the world order India is looking forward?
India is looking for a peaceful world order where the rules-based order is established, an inclusive order, I believe, which we have propagated always, and where the disputes are resolved through peaceful means.
Then do we want to have a world order dictated by one or two, by many?
So we want multipolarity in which no single power has the monopoly, and everybody is well within its rights.
Take a Gamini, fine.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.